I think Slowbro in Pokemon Unite has one of the best defender kits in the game. I just think that people don't necessarily know that quite yet. So in this video, we're going to go over his stats, his skills, and then some cool tricks that you can do with Slowbro in order to get the most out of him. And I thought I knew a lot about Slowbro, but now I know even more after doing some research here. So let's just get started here with some of his skills. Oh, I love Slowbro so much. He makes me so happy. So Slowbro starts as Slowpoke, and he has two skills. He has Slack Off, and he has Watergun. So what Slack Off does is it makes him roll over and heal up a little bit. What a little cutie pie. But something to know about Slack Off is if it gets interrupted, it continues to heal, just at a reduced rate. So if you take a peek here, boop, I interrupt it, it's still going up just a little bit. His other skill here is Watergun, and let me get to level 15 so you can see, what the damage is like at that level, because that's usually when we measure our things here. And at level 15, it does 1827. Now what you saw there is you can charge it up. I see a lot of people just go bleh. And if you do that, you're only doing 906 damage, which is much lower than the 1827 that it can do. Also, a cute little thing about it is, if you take a look at his mouth, his bubbles kind of foam up in his mouth as he gets ready to push it out, which is really cute. And for his learned skills, let's start with Surf here, which he gets at level 4, which is really awesome because it's such a good skill at such a low level. And then we'll also go with Telekensis. And then for the Unite move, he has a Slowbeam, which he gets at level 9. And before we get Surf Plus here, let's take a look at Surf, because what Surf does is it causes a knock-up effect, and then it does more damage. But Surf Plus, take a real close look at this wave. This is regular Surf. See how the second and third wave are a little bit smaller? Well, the Surf Plus, those waves get larger. You can tell by the wake on top of the wave. Also, with Surf Plus, you do multiple knockups. Every single wave causes a knockup, where with regular Surf, it's only the first wave. You get Surf Plus at level 11, which, in my opinion, is awesome, because that's a pretty low level for the end of the game. So you get an extremely effective CC skill by the time level 11 comes around, and it's already pretty good before level 11 anyway. It does about 2,151 damage, which in the land of Substitute Doll is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that on a tank. Other cool things it does is it helps you move forward so you can run away or you can run towards someone to catch up to them. Surf also causes a slow, but it's a little bit easier to see that slow with the regular Surf, because with Surf Plus, they just get obliterated and they keep getting knocked up in the air. And lastly, it also goes through walls in case you want to do damage that way, which makes it really nice if you want to go ahead and get a cheeky little snipe here on Zapdos. But now on to Telekinesis, because Telekinesis is one of the coolest skills in the game, and there's a functionality to it that is listed right in the description, but I never see anybody ever use it, and it's really powerful. So Telekinesis, what it does, you shoot out a beam, it grabs an enemy. After you grab them, they're up in the air for 2 seconds, and then they get put back down. They're stunned while this happens. Also, a couple of things to know about Telekinesis is while they're up in the air, they're not going to take damage from things that hit on the ground. So if you have a Talonflame on your team and they're running Fly, they cannot hit this Substitute Doll while it's up in the air. So be a little careful of that if you got some people on your team that, do really hard ground slams. But something really cool about Telekinesis that I never see anyone ever use is, take a look at this. Did you know you can pull people towards you? Nobody does this. You know how many cool places you could do this? Oh my god, I can't even begin to express how many. Like, you could be in the jungle, be like, okay, this is mine now, I'm gonna take it and then finish it even though you just tried taking it. Another really cool area is down over here, where a lot of people try to defend their second goal zone. If you can manage to grab somebody over here and then pull them over to your side of the wall, well, then suddenly they can't run right back to their base. So it's a really good way to pick people out of their safe zone. Other really cool areas to do this. Here, let me show you how cool this can get. Let me bring Charizard over here. Like, let's say you're sitting here trying to defend your area and you see somebody, or you just think somebody's in the tall grass, where you're like, whoop, got you, and then you can pull them over that whole thing. It's so good, and I never see people use it. I swear to God. Slowbro players, you have such a gift, and it's just sitting right there. All you got to do is tap it again while they're up in the air, and that's how you pull them. The big caveat here is that you just need to make sure you got room for the person to be pulled, because if I try doing this, he's not coming. He's just going to get smashed up against it. So make sure you got a little bit of room here. Get Slowbro's big tummy out of the way, and then they'll pull right over. Okay? Please start using Telekinesis this way. Or heck, if you're defending, let's say people are trying to be pretty cheeky and just like, slam you from a distance like a score bunny who's got an attitude or something. Just take that little rabbit, grab him, and pull him into your zone. Next thing you know, you got rabbit feet for dinner. Oh my god, I love telekinesis. It's such an awesome skill. It's like if Lick was good. Or heck, let's say you think someone's about to snipe in the grass over there because you're trying to take Rotom. You'd be like, haha, it's the prize. It's my Rotom now. And then you just finish him off like this. And then this guy's over here is like, because he thought he was going to be able to get an easy snipe, and then Rotom just disappeared. The difference between Telekinesis and Telekinesis Plus is that Telekinesis Plus has a little bit more range and it shoots out a little bit faster. That's about it. Telekinesis does not work on Dreadnought and it does not work on Zapdos. I don't think it's going to work on somebody who's unstoppable either. The reason why I bring that up is because Slowbro does have a skill that works against characters that are unstoppable, which is pretty cool. One other problem with Telekinesis though, and maybe they'll patch this out, is for some reason it doesn't work against Ninetales. Don't know why. That Snow CC that she has, I think that messes with Telekinesis, and I'm sure they're going to patch it out. Also, we have a new channel, Pokemon Unite Guides. We started that this week, and it almost has 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And that's just pure Pokemon Unite content. Here on SwingPoynt, I post other stuff that's not just Pokemon Unite. But if you like Pokemon Unite, you want to get over there first and be one of the first people to support the channel, get some bragging rights, I'd love to see you guys over there, and thank you so much for checking it out. But now let's continue with Slowbro here. So now let's talk about Slowbro's other two skills, which are Scald and Amnesia. And after playing with Amnesia a little bit, I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. After playing with Scald for a bit, I hate it more than I thought I was going to. So let's take a look at Scald and let's take a look at Amnesia. So what Scald does is it goes push, and it causes a little bit of damage over time, 100 damage per tick to the substitute doll for a total of 2,042 damage, which is extremely disappointing because Surf does more. Scald Plus at least does a little bit more area damage. Everybody who's caught in that area is going to get caught with a burn, and that burn causes a slow and it causes damage over time. But it's still just... The only cool part about Scald compared to Surf is that it has a much lower cooldown. It's only a 5-second cooldown. I think Surf's like 9 or 10 seconds. So you're going to get way more Scalds out than you ever would Surf. But it's like the fact that Surf does so much crowd control and damage, and it makes you move faster. It's so hard to give up Surf in favor of Scald because you already have damage dealers on your team. So what you ideally will be doing as a defender is making it so they can be better, not just making it so you're also dishing out more damage over time. I think Surf is just such a better skill. But if you want to play Scald, go right ahead. There was a surge in Scald Bros because they buffed Scald, if you can believe it was worse than it is now. But let me try to explain where Scald might be cool. But in order to do that, I have to bring Charizard over here and take damage. So I'm going to have Charizard do some damage to me here, and what you'll see is there's going to be a blue that shows up. And that's Oblivious's effect. So that blue is health that I could recover if I do damage. So if I use Scald here, you see how I heal up a bunch? That's where Scald is a little bit more interesting than Surf because Scald has a much lower cooldown. And to kind of put that in perspective, the health loss that you have becomes permanent starting at around 9 seconds, and it kind of varies between 9 and 15 at that point. So Scald, you can get 2 Scalds out within that window where you can only get 1 Surf. So you have more of an opportunity to recover your health with Scald than you do with Surf. That's the only real advantage that Scald has over Surf. In my opinion, not worth it. One other thing that happens with Oblivious is when you do damage to an enemy and you start healing, the enemy that you did damage to loses special defense. So they're actually a little bit more vulnerable, maybe not necessarily to you because you already used your skill, but to everybody else on your team. And now something that's insanely cool about Oblivious is that it heals based off of a percentage of how much you have lost. So basically what that means is the bigger that blue bar is, the more you're gonna heal. So you see I got a pretty big blue bar right now. Well, if I go ahead and use Amnesia, well, suddenly I'm healing for massive chunks of health. You see that? 894, 700, like... It heals based off of a tick, so tick, 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 tick. And then the bigger the blue bar is, the more health that's going to be. The smaller the blue bar is, the less that number is going to be, which is why the number gets progressively smaller, because there's less and less blue bar to use up. Really what this means is that Slowbro can have a lot of tankiness to him if you play him right. And to be clear, that health recovery that Slowbro gets is only within that blue bar. And that blue bar only lasts for about 9 seconds. So we'll showcase that here with Amnesia here, and we'll start talking about Amnesia. So typically, in order to recover health with Slowbro's passive, he has to do damage with one of his skills, with the exception of Amnesia. Amnesia can just straight up heal you. So let's take a peek here. Let's let Charizard kick my butt a little bit, and you'll start to see that blue bar kick in. And then if I use Amnesia here, what it'll do is it'll heal a whole lot, frankly. But you see how there's some permanent health loss in there? Now, if we sit here and wait long enough, that gradual health loss will become permanent health loss. And if I were to use Amnesia now, since I don't have any blue bar left, I'm not going to heal at all. Since I don't have any blue bar left, damaging Charizard isn't going to heal me. So he still has to have that blue remaining. Otherwise, the heals don't work. All right, so I hope that I finally helped people understand Slowbro's passive a little bit better. But now let's continue talking about Amnesia. So Amnesia does more than just heal you, which is important because in this scenario, there's nothing to heal. Other things it does. It causes you to be unstoppable for a short period of time, a really short period of time, but that can't help you dodge a slow or dodge some sort of attack that would cause a status, or let's say Wigglytuff's trying to sing at you. If you go ahead and do that, you'll dodge one of her notes. What else it does is it causes you to take less damage for a certain period of time. You take 23% less damage while Amnesia is active. And how long is it active? Well, it's active until the question marks stop. That's an easy way for you to remember it. As soon as those go away, then the damage reduction is no longer happening. One other thing that Amnesia does is it makes it so your next Scald or your next Surf does more damage than it typically would. So if we take a look at Surf here, we're going to do about 2,151 damage. Okay? Well, if we go ahead and use Amnesia and then use Surf, we will do 2,364 damage. So it's about a 10% increase to your Surf. But wait, there's more. Because what Amnesia Plus does is it increases your special attack damage. So if you go ahead and you use Amnesia Plus and then Surf right away, you'll go even higher. So ba-bam and ba-bam. We still have those question marks on our head, and because of that, we did more damage and actually went up to 2,574. So to sum that up, you're going to get an extra 10% damage to your Surf no matter what. If you use Amnesia, I could wait 1 minute, I could wait 3 minutes, I could wait 2 seconds. You're going to get that extra 10% just because you use Amnesia. However, you'll get an additional 10% equaling 20% extra damage if you use Amnesia and then Surf right away as long as the question marks are still on your head. Okay? Okay, so now on to Slowbro's Unite move, which is called Slowbeam, and I love Slowbeam because I think it does something that not a whole lot of other skills in the game are capable of. But to start with the basics, you have a little cone in front of you here, and you're going to shoot it out and grab a target. And that target is going to take damage, you are going to gain a shield, and you're going to become unstoppable during the duration of it. And you do 3,240 damage, which is quite a lot to a substitute doll. That is nothing to scoff at, especially on a tank. But it does something way more cool than that. So, if you are aware, let me go bring Charizard up here, and I want to show you something. So for you Charizard players out there, I'm sure you're aware that when Charizard uses his ultimate, he becomes unstoppable. However, Slowbeam can stop the unstoppable. He still grabs me after the fact. But if you see like a Machamp or a Charizard going ham with a big ol' unstoppable above their head, you can just straight up grab that little sucker with your Slowbeam. I think it's because it uses the bound effect, and I don't think there's a whole lot of other skills in the game currently that cause bound. So keep an eye out for future bound abilities because they apparently can stop unstoppable, which is awesome. I love Slowbro, man. He's such a vibe, and he's so good. And now onto Slowbro's stats. He has about 9,400 HP, 421 defense, and 360 special defense. I'm pretty sure these defensive numbers are pretty close to Lucario, but then Slowbro just has way more HP than Lucario does with 9,400 HP. And now let's move on to the other stats here so we can see his basic attack. So his basic attacks are 292 on a basic attack, and then if he gets a boosted attack, it's 758 damage. And there's an area of effect around that splash, and that splash causes slow. That's all the different things happening with the boosted attack. But there's something really peculiar here that I noticed about Slowbro. So outside of the fact that he's a ranged defender, which is pretty cool, take a look at his boosted attack. Typically, you have about 4 seconds in between your attacks there to charge up your boosted attack. So if I were to attack here, I'd have 4 seconds before I'd have to do it again in order to maintain my gauge. But if you notice on Slowbro, it goes away really quickly. It's like less than a second. So you really gotta pound these out if you want to get that boosted attack out. I don't know why, but I guess that's just how they decided to balance him. You have to make sure you really just bam, bam, bam. And now on to items for Slowbro. What I love about Slowbro is you got choices, frankly. So typically what I would throw on a defender, I'd be like, okay, buddy barrier, and then, you know, focus band because he has all that HP, so you want to be able to get the most out of his HP that he already has. He's going to benefit more than some other characters would. And then since he does special attack, I'd go Wise Glasses. This is a pretty good build on him. But Slowbro does do a lot of damage for a defender with special attacks. So you could, if you wanted to, be a little more cheeky than that, and you could go and throw on the special attack specs, get rid of Buddy Barrier if you want to risk not having Buddy Barrier, because he already gains a shield as is with his Unite move. You could go and throw on a Score Shield, because then you can take advantage of his big health pool, and then it makes it really easy to buff up his special attack specs, which, by the way, you can do this up to 6 times. 6 separate scores will be what you need to max out your special attack specs. So this is a more of an offensive build on Slowbro. But again, he's got options. You could throw tons of stuff on him. You could throw EXP share since he's a defender, and that would make it so that, let's say you have a Gardevoir or a Garchomp in lane, that makes it so that they're going to gain more EXP more quickly, and then Slowbro can keep up since he already benefits from having a lower level requirement on some of his skills. You also could run Shell Bell to kind of keep up that sustain, keep up a little bit more health. I think Shell Bell has a cooldown though, so it's okay for his skill. It's really up to you. I mean, heck, you could even run Energy Amp because he has a lot of damage out of his Unite skill, and Energy Amplifier lasts about 3 seconds after the Unite move is used, so you're not really going to be able to use it on like a Surf or a Scald, but you're going to make your Unite move much stronger. So really do whatever you want with Slowbro, frankly. He's got a lot of capabilities. You like offensive Slowbro? Maybe run something like this. You like a more standard Slowbro? Maybe go Buddy Barrier. You like running something where you're a little bit more cheeky and you want to really get a strong Unite move? Maybe try Energy Amp. If you want to play games with me or other people in the community, we stream just about every single night on twitch.tv/SwingPoynt. Also, a reminder again, we have that new channel, Pokemon Unite Guides. All of those links will be in the description, as well as other guides on the channel here for all the other characters we've covered. We've covered a lot of them. We have a Zapdos guide. We have a really in-depth Rotom guide where you learn things about Rotom you wouldn't expect. We have a solo queue guide. We got all sorts of stuff on the channel for Pokemon Unite here. So go check those videos out. Thank you so much for being here. Please consider subscribing here or on the other channel. I'd love to have you guys here. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video that we do around here.